Hello there, it's Jenny McGarvey from Keep It Simple Paper Crafts. Welcome to the Mega Make and Take Extravaganza. We are going to make 3 projects today, including this card, another card, look at how cute that is, and also a scrapbook layout. All of these are going to be created using the patterns from our Clementine collection. It is full of beautiful patterns, lovely saturated colors, and so many great images that I think that you're going to for sure love. Now let's take a look at the items that are included in this make and take kit. First, we have a handful of white buttons that we'll use on the projects. We also have some of the Clementine ephemera. There will be more left over than you can even use on these 3 projects, so you could use them on others or add them to the projects when you're finished. An assortment of pattern papers that are from the collection. Now please note the pattern papers that you purchase in the collection pack are actually a much higher quality paper. It's on our 80-pound felt weave paper that is absolutely beautiful and such high quality, but the same lovely patterns and saturated colors. Now you'll also receive in this kit a sheet of white cardstock and a paper doily, and then also a length of white grosgrain ribbon as well. Now that's not all. We're also going to receive the card bases to create our 2 cards. You see them right here with nice white crisp cardstock, and then also you will receive the coordinating sized envelopes as well, so you can just go ahead and address those, add a stamp, and mail those right out. Isn't that wonderful? We're going to have a lot of fun creating with these items. I just know it. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the items that you'll need to create our projects today. You are going to need a 5.5 by 4.25 inch photo. You will also need a 12-inch paper trimmer, you're going to need some scissors. You'll also need your favorite foam adhesive, some glue dots, and a tape runner. That's it. It's pretty simple, isn't it? Now, why don't we go ahead and get to creating? Doesn't that sound fun? First up is this beautiful layout. I absolutely love it. It is perfect for a favorite photo that can shine front and center, and then you can add a little bit of journaling later on to document whatever was going on and tell the story. Now we're going to go ahead and get started. I have already assembled the items that we'll need. So you can see those right here. We've got a pile of beautiful goodness, don't we? We have some patterned papers and our white cardstock base, and that's how we're going to get started. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to cut a 1 by 12 inch and a 2 by 12 inch strip from this pink floral paper. Then we will adhere the smaller strip, that's the 1 inch by 12 inch, along the top, and the larger strip, that's the 2 by 12 inch strip, along the bottom of the white cardstock layout base. So you can see I'm just cutting those right up, and then I'll take the tape runner to adhere those to the cardstock. Next up, we're going to cut 2 1/2 inch by 12-inch strips from this multicolor stripe paper, and we'll adhere those strips to the layout directly below and above the pink florals. These coordinate together so well, and I love the balance of the florals and the stripes together. Definitely always a favorite. Now these little strips are just going to provide an accent, but I love how adding these two together not only looks great, but it also draws your eye into the center of the page for the important part of the layout, which is of course the photo, and then any journaling that you might add as well. So I'm just making sure to get plenty of adhesive on the strip, though not in too much because we don't really need to cover the entire strip, just the edges and then a little bit in the center, and then line them up right next to that floral. Now that we're finished with that, we're going to cut a 4.5 by 6-inch panel from the maroon stripe paper. I love the tone on tone of these stripes. It's really so pretty. Once we are finished cutting this, we are going to layer it and adhere it with our photo in the center of the layout, 2 inches from the left edge. Now I did already add a nice little border around my photo. It's just small, a little tiny bit of white cardstock peeking out just because I really love how that makes the photo pop. And I can't help it, I really do love some layering. I'm just adding a little bit of adhesive in the corners. That will do the job to adhere it to the page. Now I'm also going to use a ruler to get the dimensions just right. However, if you'd prefer to eyeball it, you can do that as well. So remember, I'd like to have it be 2 inches from the edge and then in the center of the page vertically. Sometimes it takes a long time to get things straight, doesn't it? Okay, now we are all finished. Now the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to cut a 2.5 by 6-inch panel from the Coral Music Note paper. Now when you do this, you're going to want to make sure to pay attention to the paper orientation when you're cutting, as you will want to make sure that those music notes are orientated the right way. We're going to adhere the panel to the right of the maroon stripe paper. And when we're finished with that, we will take out of the bag of ephemera and die cuts, we will take that You Are Perfect card and adhere it in the center of the panel. I love the contrast of that card with the photo and the rest of the pattern papers. It's just beautiful and it really pops. Now we're going to take the paper doily and we're going to cut it in half. You'll set this aside the other half for one of the cards that we're going to create in a little bit. Now I'm adding adhesive to the back of the doily, and then we will adhere it at the bottom right corner of the You Are Perfect card. The next step is to layer and adhere the large floral heart and the pink damask heart at the bottom corner of the You Are Perfect card using foam adhesive. So it's just going to lay perfectly next to the You Are Perfect and the doily. Super cute. I love how those just fit so snugly together. They just look super cute and perfect, and the patterns, of course, coordinate wonderfully. Now, I love to make sure that I have enough of my foam adhesive not only to adhere the item to the page, but also to give it the support that it needs as well. All right, so very cute. I just love it. But we're not all done yet. The next step is that we are going to take this white grosgrain ribbon and we're going to cut a 12-inch length and tie a bow. Just a simple bow like you would when you're tying your shoes. I'm not paying too much attention on the edges at this point either. I'll clean those up when I'm finished tying my bow. So I'm simply taking the length of ribbon and tying a bow just like you would if you were tying your shoes, trying to make it cute and even. But again, just like everything else, it's not quite as easy to get these things all lined up and neat and orderly, is it? So I'm just pulling it to make sure that it's all straight and we've got it tied nice and tight. And then when I'm finished doing that, I will also take my scissors and just cut the edge in a nice little angle, making sure that it matches in length with the bow as well. The next thing that we'll do is we'll adhere the bow at the bottom of the hearts with a glue dot. So I'm simply peeling that glue dot or sticking it to the back of that bow, and then we'll adhere it right there. Oh my gosh, that's just adorable. I absolutely love it. So very cute. Now remember those white buttons that I showed you earlier? We are going to take a small white button and adhere it in the center of the bow, again using a glue dot. And we're not quite finished. We still have another step. We're going to take one of the small white hearts from the ephemera and adhere it to the top of the You Are Perfect card. So cute. And then we'll also do the same thing with one of the small buttons. We'll use a glue dot and adhere that right next to that heart. That turned out so cute, didn't it? I just love it. Now we can go ahead and move on to our 5.5-inch card. We're going to use a few of the pattern papers, a button, the other half of that doily, so hopefully you set it aside, and then we are going to create a beautiful thank you card that you can send to just about anyone. Now the first step is we are going to cut a 5 1/4 inch square from the green polka dot paper. The next step is to cut a 3 by 5 1/4 inch strip from the pink floral paper. Don't those look beautiful together? Now the next step is going to be to cut 2 1/4" by 5 1/4" strips from the maroon stripe paper. Now we will adhere the pink floral strip of paper to the center of the green polka dot paper panel and adhere a maroon stripe strip above and below the floral panel. Those all just tie together so nicely. I love that organic floral print, but then you have the solid geometric patterns in the polka dot and the stripes. They look wonderful together, don't they? So we're simply just adhering that in the center, and then we will add those strips above and below the floral. Now I used my tape runner here, but if you have a liquid glue handy, you could also use that. If it has a really fine point, that would work as well. But we'll just stick with our tape runner since that's what we're using for the majority of the project. Now look how cute that is. Now the next step is we are going to take a 5 1/2" length of white ribbon and make that cut in the end. Again, it doesn't really matter what the ends look like because we are going to tuck that behind the paper. Okay, so now I've cut that 5 1/2" length, and we are going to adhere it to the bottom of the pink floral panel, and we'll adhere both of the ends to the back side of the paper. So I'm just going to run my tape runner right along here. I just love how it sticks together so very nicely. It also straightens out the ribbon really nicely as well. And then we'll just give it a nice firm to press it together to make sure they're bonded, and then we'll flip it over and adhere it on the back side as well. Looks gorgeous. Now we're going to take that other half of the doily, remember the one that we saved from before, and we will adhere it above the ribbon and slightly to the right. Now we'll take the thank you label and we will adhere it on the right side of the panel over the ribbon using our foam adhesive. Now again, use whatever foam adhesive is your favorite. This is one that I had handy and I've used enough to make sure that it sticks really nicely, but that you can't like poke it in the center or anything like that. So when you send it through the mail, it'll still be well supported. Got that a little bit uneven, so I just pulled it up and straightened it right out so it still looks great. Now I'm going to take the white grosgrain ribbon and cut another 12-inch length of it and tie a bow just like we did before. So simply tying a bow like you would tie a shoe, making sure to get it to be a good length that both the tails match the width of the actual bow. And now we'll trim those tails as well, just to make sure that they are nice and neat and clean. Now that we're finished with our bow, we are going to go ahead and adhere it to the left of the thank you label with a glue dot. And we're also going to adhere another white button in the center of this bow as well. I just love how that looks. It's a little bit unexpected with it being placed vertically, but I think it looks wonderful. And the bow in the center the button in the center just looks fantastic. Now, in order to finish this off, all we have to do is adhere this panel to our 5.5-inch square card base. What a great thank you card. It's just really such a beautiful card, and it's perfect for sending to say thank you for a variety of different ways or reasons, don't you think? Lucky for us, we still have one more project to create because I'm not quite finished yet. How about you? Now we have one last card left, and I've collated our materials right there. You can see them looking so pretty and perfect. I love that floral pattern. I think it's really so beautiful. And actually, it's the first thing that we're going to do. We are going to cut a 4.25 by 5.5-inch panel from the white floral paper. Isn't that so pretty? Now we're going to take that coral music note paper and we are going to cut a 2.25 by 5.5 panel from that and adhere it to the left side of the white floral panel, and we'll just use our tape runner for that. Those just look fantastic together. I absolutely love that coral with that floral. It's so pretty. Now the next step is to cut a 1/4 inch by 5.5-inch strip from the green polka dot paper, and then we'll adhere it to the center of this panel. Again, we'll just use our tape runner to adhere that. Looking good, isn't it? Now our next step is to take the white grosgrain ribbon and we will cut a 6-inch length of it and attach it along the right edge of the coral music note paper on the panel, and we'll adhere the ends of the ribbon to the back side of the paper like we did before. So again, I'll just run the adhesive along the ribbon, and again, I still love how it just sticks together so perfectly, and this also, once we adhere it to the paper, helps really smooth out any wrinkles that the ribbon might still have. I also, as a side note, really love the texture that the ribbon provides for these projects. It really just kicks it up a notch, and it's so simple and really isn't intrusive at all, but it just really adds an extra layer of dimension. So now we're folding over those edges on the back side, and now that we're finished, we can go ahead and adhere this panel to the front of the A2 card base. I'm simply going to add the adhesive in the corners and then just make sure I get enough, and then a little bit extra in the center as well. All right, now that's all complete. We've got our card base all ready to go for the fun part, which is of course the embellishing. Am I right? Now we have a couple of pieces of ephemera that we're going to add to this card, and we're going to use our foam adhesive for that again. Now we're going to take that Dream a Little Bigger circle and that pink and blue flower, and we're going to layer them and adhere them in the center of the card using the foam adhesive. That really provides such a nice contrast, doesn't it? That nice dark color pops right out from that white and that coral background. I just love that. Now we still need to add our two flowers, the blue and the pink flower. So we'll just use our tape runner for these and layer them with the Dream a Little Bigger circle. Looks great, doesn't it? I love how that all came together. Now we're going to do the same thing as we did before. We're going to measure a 12-inch section of the grosgrain ribbon and cut that off, and then we will also tie a bow with this one as well. So now I'm just trimming up the tails to make sure that they look nice and they are nice and polished and they're the correct length to coordinate with the loops of the bow. And I'm going to adhere this to the card by using a glue dot. Now we're going to adhere that at the top in the center of the Dream a Little Bigger circle. Look how cute that is. It's adorable. And we're going to do the same thing that we've done in the past with the white button. We're just going to use a little glue dot and adhere that to the center of the button. Isn't that so cute? I just love these projects. I hope you really did too. Now, let's take a look at some other stuff, shall we? Okay, so now let's look at the Clementine washi. You get 4 rolls of the washi, and you can see it's got some of that beautiful gold foiling. Some are a little bit more basic, some are a little more exciting and patterned but it all matches the collection. Now look at these buttons, the variety of sizes and colors, and then a few of them have this little detail on the outline, like an outline circle. I just absolutely love it. They're so cute, and they really just provide something really fun to all your Clementine projects. Now these enamel shapes are so cute because you not only get the hearts, but you also get the circles, and again, the wide variety of the Clementine colors. And gemstones. Who doesn't love a little rhinestone for their project? And again, a variety of colors and sizes. So you don't have to choose. You get all of them. It's wonderful. Now these pearls, I love them. They have a wonderful height and they have this beautiful sheen. And again, the same thing. You get a wide variety of colors and sizes in each package. I just love that. And these are perfect to go along with all of your Clementine projects. But What about the puffy stickers? Cute little images, and I've already used the little butterfly. There's also a butterfly in the package, but I've already used that little guy. But they're so cute, and they're perfect accents for all of your projects. Now, how can we use these guys? I know you can think of a way. So let's go ahead and use some of those products in addition to the projects that we just made, shall we? All right, so these are the projects that we just made, and they're wonderful, and I love them just as they are. But if you want to kick them up a notch using some of our Clementine embellishments, let's do that. So the first thing that I did was I added some machine stitching off screen because I didn't want you to have to sit and watch me do machine stitching or have me do it while you were waiting. So I've added a little strip of machine stitching on the stripe paper and then did a little bit of zigzag stitching at the bottom as well. Now the first thing that we're going to do together is we're going to add some stitching to that little button that I showed you. So I just used my paper piercer and I added some holes so that I would have a little bit less resistance when I was sewing, because as you can see, we do have a few layers of patterned paper to sew through. Now, in addition, we did also use a glue dot to adhere this, so it is a little bit sticky and does provide a little bit more resistance when sewing. Now, if you're not a sewer, because I'm not a sewer either, I do like to sew on paper, but that is it. I'm simply using a needle and some embroidery thread. You could use regular thread, you could use whatever you have on hand, but I like to use the embroidery thread. It's easy to pick up a wide variety of colors and store that as well. So I'm just going to tie this off on the back super quick, and then I'll finish that up with just a little piece of washi as well when I'm finished. It'll help keep that all together neatly. And again, I always like any excuse to use a little bit of washi, even if it's not being seen. I still really enjoy it. And especially with these Clementine washis, I get to look at that gold foil shimmer. Who knew that was going to be so hard to say? Now, if you want to pick up any of these Clementine products that we've talked about today, we have a special, and that's 20% off your entire order. So you just use the code July26, JULY26 at checkout, and you can pick up any of those embellishments, including the beautiful washi. Look at that. This pink color is really pretty, and then it just has the gold foil dots. I absolutely love it. But I definitely recommend any of the Clementine embellishments because I couldn't even begin to pick a favorite. I love them all. Okay, so now we've added the stitching and then hand stitched the center of that button, and it looks fantastic. Now, speaking of washi, we're going to take the eyelashes. Look how cute that is. That's gold foil on teal washi, and we are going to place a long strip right above, look right there, above the patterned paper strip, that striped strip. And I'll just add a little bit of washi right there. I love that it adds a little bit of more feminine detail with the little gold foil eyelashes. I'm just pressing down along there to make sure that we've got a good, it's adhered well to the page. So we're just pushing that down, and then I'll trim the edges off on both sides. Now we're going to do the exact same thing along the top. We're going to adhere the eyelash washi alongside the striped paper strip that I trimmed from that. Wait a minute, back up. We're going to adhere it to the paper next to the pattern paper strip. There we go. And we'll cut off the ends of the washi. And then we have this really beautiful little added feminine detail of the gold foil eyelashes. Super cute. Doesn't that look adorable? I just absolutely love it. It's a very simple addition, but it looks fantastic, and it just adds yet another texture. Now we're going to also include some of the Enamel Hearts from the Clementine Collection. I am going to use, look how cute they are, just adding it to the little cluster of embellishments. We're just taking one of the little teal / light blue, light teal, whatever you want to call them, hearts, and adding them to the two little clusters. They're so cute right there. Now, we are also still not done because we want to keep dressing up this beauty, am I right? I'm going to take the Love Puffy sticker, and I love these puffy stickers, by the way, because they're not too squishy, they're just squishy enough. And now if you want to add some journaling, you can go right ahead and do that. Isn't that wonderful? I just love how that all came together, don't you? All right, so now let's work on the square card. I added some stitching around the outside of the card and then also on the striped pattern paper. You can see that. I love that not only is it a really inexpensive adhesive, but it just adds some flair and some texture. Now, in order to cover on the inside of a card the stitching, I have simply trimmed a piece of patterned paper. It coordinates with the front. The card is 5.5 by 5.5 inches, and so I've just a hair smaller. And then I'll go ahead and adhere this on top of that. And then now you've taken care of not being able to see the stitching, and then also adding a little bit of decor on the inside of your card as well, and plenty of room to write your message down below. Looks super cute, am I right? Now we're still not finished. We're going to add some more of those really adorable enamel dots, and this time I'm going to use a couple of the maroon hearts just to make a little bit more fun and interest on this card, but we're still keeping it really simple and really fun and easy to send for any occasion that you need to say thank you. Isn't that beautiful? All right, and last but not least, we're going to dress up our Dream a Little Bigger card. And again, I've added a little bit of stitching, so we're going to do the same thing on the inside. We're going to take this little panel that I cut from the pink floral patterned paper, and we're going to adhere it to the inside so that we can hide the machine stitching. Sometimes when you're just trying to get it all lined up perfectly, things don't work out quite so well. But that's the great thing about these adhesives. Most of the time, you can just peel them up and reposition and stick them right back down. So now we have the inside taken care of, and you cannot see the machine stitching that I added along the edge of the card. But now we're going to take a couple of these pearls, and we're going to make them the center of those flowers. And of all the things we've done today, I think this is my favorite bit. It's like they were meant to go together. They look so beautiful. It just adds the perfect amount of dimension, and it just really adds something a little bit special in the center of that. Doesn't it look wonderful? But we're still not done. We're going to take a couple more of the flowers that were included with the ephemera. So if you break out that bag with the ephemera inside of it, we'll adhere these flowers right underneath. So we're just doing a little bit more layering. The pink will go right underneath the blue. You see that right there? It looks so cute. And then we'll take the yellow one and adhere it underneath the pink. Now the foam from the Dream a Little Bigger sticker is a little bit in the way, so I'm going to have to peel that up and then stick this flower underneath just so we can get it all perfectly right. But it still works out great, and we're able to layer these pieces all together beautifully. Thank you so much for your support of Keep It Simple Paper Crafts and of the Stamp and Scrapbook Expo at Home events. We really do appreciate you. Now don't forget to use the code JULY26, JULY26 at checkout, and you could take advantage of the 20% off your entire order. So you can pick up some of those embellishments and add them to your projects, or a whole other slew of things to keep creating at home. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.